My beloved brothers and sisters, have you ever wondered why sometimes your life feels stuck? Doors keep closing and nothing seems to move forward. What if I told you that these very struggles might actually be the signs that Allah is preparing to open the greatest doors of wealth and rizq for you? When Allah intends to grant someone a greater portion of wealth and rizq, one of the first signs He sends is through tests of patience. It may come as financial constraints, delays in achieving goals, or sudden obstacles that feel almost unbearable. These are not punishments, but divine preparations. Allah knows that wealth is not just a blessing, it is also a responsibility. It can either elevate a believer or destroy them if they are not ready. That is why before the opening of rizq, Allah often places a person in situations where they must learn patience, reliance, and trust. It is in the darkness of waiting and the weight of difficulty that one's heart becomes trained to value, to remain humble, and to use blessings in the right way. When you face shortage, your heart is polished. You learn to live with less, to manage what little you have, and to stay grateful even when circumstances seem tight. This is a spiritual training ground, because if you cannot appreciate a little, how will you value a lot? If you cannot handle small tests, how will you manage the larger ones that come with wealth? Many people do not realize that the trial of patience is actually the seed of abundance. Every time you remain firm, every moment you resist giving up, you are being elevated closer to your opening. Allah wants to see if you will remain steadfast in salah, even when your pocket is empty. If you will keep your tongue clean, even when you are under stress. And if you will avoid haram means of earning when things are difficult. These moments define your worthiness. The patience you show is not unnoticed. Every silent prayer, every tear you shed in the night when no one knows your struggles, Allah is recording it. Sometimes the delay is what makes the gift more beautiful. Think of the seed placed deep in the soil. At first there is darkness, pressure, and nothing seems to change. But beneath the surface, growth is happening. When the time is right, the plant emerges strong enough to bear fruit. In the same way, Allah keeps you in moments of pressure to build you, not to break you. And once the training is complete, once your heart is prepared, the doors of rizq open in a way that surprises you, reminding you that your patience was never wasted. So if you find yourself in a season of hardship, do not think Allah has forgotten you. It may just be the very sign that something greater is on its way. True wealth does not arrive before patience. It arrives because of patience. Another clear sign that Allah is preparing to bless someone with wealth and rizq is the sudden opening of doors that once seemed permanently closed. Opportunities begin to appear in unexpected ways, through people you never thought you would meet, through ideas that suddenly spark in your mind, or through avenues of work and business that you had never considered before. These are not coincidences, they are divine arrangements. Allah controls the entire system of provision, and when He wants to expand it for you, He orchestrates circumstances that align perfectly in your favor. A job offer may come without you applying, a business partnership may present itself out of nowhere, or a long-forgotten skill may suddenly become the source of your income. This is Allah's way of showing that He is the true provider, Al-Razaq, and He does not need logic or predictability to deliver your sustenance. During these moments, it is important to stay alert. Not every door that opens is from Allah, but the ones that bring peace to the heart, align with halal, and encourage growth in your faith are often the ones He has placed for you. When blessings are on the horizon, you begin to notice how small changes accumulate. Perhaps you meet someone who gives you valuable advice, or you cross paths with a person who helps you in ways you could not have managed alone. These divine connections are part of Allah's plan. He sends the right people at the right time to guide you toward what He has written for you. Sometimes the opening of doors is not about sudden wealth itself, but about guidance that leads to wealth later. Allah may inspire you to start a project, to study a certain skill, or to invest your time in something that seems small but will eventually grow. You may not immediately see the outcome, but if the door was opened by Allah, it will eventually lead you to something far greater than you imagined. It is in these subtle nudges, in these small but meaningful shifts, that the signs of rizq begin to reveal themselves. When you see these unexpected doors opening, don't doubt the process. Trust that Allah is arranging something for you that your mind cannot fully grasp yet. The one who opens doors no one can shut is the same one preparing to deliver what your heart has been praying for. One of the most beautiful signs that wealth and rizq are on their way is when your heart begins to feel a stronger pull towards salah, dua, and a deeper connection with Allah. It often happens suddenly. You may have been distracted, busy with worldly matters, or even feeling distant, and then you notice a shift. Your soul starts craving prayer. Your heart feels restless until you raise your hands in dua, and you find comfort in remembering Allah. This is no ordinary feeling. It is Allah preparing you spiritually for the blessing that is about to arrive. Wealth in the hands of someone disconnected from Allah can become a burden, but wealth in the hands of someone whose heart is tied to salah and dua becomes a tool of gratitude, generosity, and goodness. That is why Allah calls you closer before He gives you more. Sometimes you notice yourself crying in sujood for no reason, or making dua with more sincerity than ever before. Even the words of the Quran begin to touch you differently, as if every verse is a reminder meant just for you. This transformation is not random. Allah places love for worship in your heart so that when the blessings arrive, your first instinct will be to thank Him, not to forget Him. It is a training of the soul, a reminder that He is the giver, and that wealth should never distract you from Him. This closeness also protects you. Wealth can become a test. It can create arrogance or make a person forget the hereafter. But if Allah has already built within you a strong bond through salah and dua, then that wealth will never own your heart. Instead, it will stay in your hands and you will use it for goodness. This is why, before the doors open, Allah makes your soul thirsty for Him, so that He remains the center even when the dunya is placed in your life. If you find yourself suddenly praying more, making more dua, or remembering Allah more often without anyone telling you to, know that this is a sign that something greater is coming your way. Allah draws you close to Him so that you never mistake the blessing for the source. Another sign that Allah is preparing to grant you wealth and rizq is when you begin to notice barakah in the small things you already have. Barakah is something beyond calculation. It is when the little you own stretches further than it logically should. A small meal seems to fill the stomachs of many, a small amount of money lasts longer than expected, or a few hours of work bring results that should have taken days. This is not about the quantity of what you possess, but about the quality Allah places within it. Barakah is a silent but powerful sign that Allah is watching over you and training you to recognize His blessings before multiplying them. When Allah wants to give more, He first teaches you to see the hidden value in less. Many people overlook this. They focus on the amount and forget the barakah. Yet it is barakah that truly sustains a person. You may have seen someone with a large salary who is always in debt, while another with a modest income lives peacefully, with enough for their needs. The difference is not numbers. It is the unseen blessing Allah places in one and withholds from the other. When you begin to notice that your efforts are producing results beyond their size, it is a sign Allah is preparing your heart to be grateful for greater provision. Barakah is also a test of perspective. If you learn to recognize it, you develop a grateful heart that says, Alhamdulillah for every small thing. But if you ignore it and only chase bigger numbers, you risk being blinded even when more comes. Allah increases those who thank Him, and He decreases from those who complain despite having enough. So when you see barakah in your life, understand that Allah is teaching you the secret. Wealth is not in how much you hold, but in how far what you hold can go. When a person sees barakah in their life, it is a gentle whisper from Allah saying, I am with you and I will give you more. If your little is already stretching, then your abundance is being written. The one who recognizes barakah in the small is the one Allah trusts with the big. One of the clearest signs that Allah is preparing to bless you with greater wealth and rizq is when He plants deep gratitude in your heart for the little you already have. Gratitude is not just about saying Alhamdulillah with the tongue. It is about truly feeling content with what is in your hands, even if it seems small compared to what others possess. When you wake up in the morning and feel thankful for your health, when you eat a simple meal and genuinely value it, when you look at your home, however modest, and find peace within it, this is a sign that Allah has chosen to elevate you. A grateful heart is magnetic. It attracts more blessings. Allah promises in the Quran, if you are grateful, I will surely increase you. So before the increase, He gives you the ability to see and appreciate the little so that when the bigger rizq comes, you won't be blinded by arrogance or forgetfulness. There are people who have much more than us, but they live in misery because their hearts are empty of gratitude. And there are those who live with, yet their faces shine with peace because they have mastered the art of shakr. Gratitude does not change what you have. It changes how you see what you have. And through that shift, Allah prepares you for abundance. When you constantly notice small blessings and give thanks for them, you are essentially showing Allah that you are ready to handle more. You are saying, Ya Allah, I see your favors and I am not blind to them. That acknowledgement is what qualifies you for the opening of greater provisions. Gratitude also transforms the way you view trials. Even in difficulties, a grateful person sees lessons, opportunities, and hidden blessings. This attitude is what unlocks divine favor. Allah gives more to those who are thankful not only because they deserve it, but because they have proven they will use it well. Shakr keeps your heart clean, your perspective balanced, and your focus on the giver rather than the gift. So if you find yourself appreciating the little things more deeply, feeling content even when others think you lack, and saying Alhamdulillah sincerely in every state, then understand that this is no small shift. It is a preparation. Gratitude is the key that unlocks doors of rizq you never imagined, and once Allah plants it in your heart, know that bigger blessings are already on their way. Another sign that Allah is preparing to grant you wealth and rizq is when He begins protecting you from hidden harms, even if at first it feels like a setback or a loss. There are times in life when you desperately want something, an opportunity, a job, a deal, or even a relationship. And despite all your efforts, it slips away. In that moment, the heart feels disappointment and confusion. But in reality, Allah is closing that door to save you from harm you cannot yet see. What looks like rejection is often divine protection. And when Allah blocks one path, it is only because He has written for you a better one. When you reflect later, you often realize why that door was closed. Maybe the business would have drained you, maybe that job would have taken you away from your faith, or maybe the people you wanted to work with would have betrayed you. At the time you couldn't see it, but Allah could. He is Al-Hakim, the All-Wise, and He clears obstacles not to hurt you, but to make space for the rizq that is truly yours. This unseen protection is one of the greatest mercies because it preserves your heart, your dignity, and your future wealth from being tainted by sources that would harm you. Another form of hidden protection comes when Allah makes you uncomfortable in certain environments. You may feel unsettled at a workplace or in a circle of people, and you don't understand why. That uneasiness is a sign that Allah wants you out of that place because it is not meant for you. When you finally leave, you realize it was only to lead you toward a space that aligns with your rizq and your faith. Protection is not always about removing harm in the moment. It is also about guiding you toward what is truly written for you. This sign is one of the most powerful because it builds trust in Allah's plan. If you begin to notice that setbacks are consistently followed by something better, or that closed doors later reveal themselves as blessings in disguise, then it is a clear sign that Allah is preparing to grant you wealth. He is removing the traps along your path, even if you do not yet see them. So when Allah protects you by closing doors or taking something away, do not despair. It is His way of clearing the ground so that when He finally delivers the wealth written for you, it arrives pure, safe, and perfectly timed.